Mike, and I own the Antique Textile Museum in Gulfport, Florida. I started this year. I bought the building last year and spent 9 months remodeling it. It's an accumulation of my 16 years of traveling, backpacking around the world. So mainly we have textiles from Tibet, India, Southeast Asia, Japan, China, South America, Central America, and a pretty good little European collection, and American. I also collect American vintage clothing, and probably have the world's largest men's vintage clothing collection. But I always had this goal since I started this in my 20s. I started when I was 28. I finished when I was 44, and I always wanted to open up a antique textile shop, cafe, something in that region where I can show people the beauty of textiles. My love of textiles started when I was young. I love old movies, I love culture, I love history, and old movies let me see the best of what was in America, especially during World War II. You know, Americans are always at their best when they're against the wall, and I find that era very, very intriguing. So I like the clothing from back then, so I started collecting the clothing, the ties. Go thrifting and collect everything, and then I opened up a vintage clothing store in Chicago with some friends. After my accident, I decided that I wanted to see the world, and I realized that other cultures had interesting textiles also, not just American. So it allowed me to go into their world, as America's world is old textiles, old clothing. Their world is just as beautiful. But in the antique textiles, this is an accumulation of my travels that I found unique and would take me off the beaten path. And I would learn about history through textiles. And now I open up the museum so I can explain this to other people, and hopefully they'll find textiles as enjoyable as I do. The collection is quite large because I traveled for 16 years backpacking after I lost my leg and just wanted to find myself in the world. And so I spent 12 years in Asia, 2.5 years in Europe, and 1.5 years in South America and Central America. So I have quite a large collection, and I wanted to get off the beaten path into villages where I could meet people. Collecting textiles and showing people pictures of different textiles that I collect would allow me into their houses, allow me into their family life, their daily life, and introduce me to some wonderful people. Basically everything in here has been bought in villages. A few pieces have been bought in antique stores, but I try to give back to the economy of the village by buying textiles and art and antiques. Each piece has significance to me because it takes me back to the village. It allows me to be a voyeur in my own life at my age. You know, I'm just so happy that I was able to do everything I did, and God bless. But there is one particular piece that has a lot of meaning to me. It's a piece that my buddy sold to me, and there's just so many cross-cultural references in it that it's beautiful. And the fact that, it was something that him and I talked about, for a long time, it has a lot of meaning to me. The purpose of the museum is, A, to educate people. And I want to show the greatest amount of people the love of textiles and how beautiful they are, and how you can learn history and culture through textiles. And so I hope to rent them to other museums so that they can show them to a greater number of people than I can in Gulfport, Florida.